So 5 years ago, my oldest friend and I organized a trip to Barcelona, Spain. We brought together 22 adults and 8 kids who unleashed havoc for 8 days. It was a great way for me to reconnect with some of my German friends. We had time to exchange thoughts, explore the area, and most importantly, prepare some awesome meals. As a matter of fact, the meals were so awesome, I managed to gain 13.5 pounds over our 3.5 week Euro period trip or time. I believe my massive weight gains had a lot to do with my German friends' passion for meat. So schnitzel it was. On top of that, I had cold cuts for breakfast with some European style bread and of course, bratwurst. Consequently, when I returned home and I stepped on the scale, I got a small but not insignificant shock. Immediately I was thinking, how can I lose this weight? At the time I had a job that was very demanding and it tied me to my desk, and I could only get away about a couple of times a week to work out during my lunch break. On top of that, I had 2 small children who needed my attention at home after work. So working out more was not an option. In my personal observation, I've seen people jump into diets to perhaps lose some weight rapidly, only to regain it, and then oftentimes to gain some more weight. So I didn't want to just try out another diet. What I believe I needed was a lifestyle change. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and guests, today I would like to share with you my journey to losing some weight, improving my health, and developing a vegan flexible mindset. So immediately I started doing some research how I could tweak my nutrition. However, it wasn't until a friend of mine shared with me a book called The China Study by Thomas T. Campbell, who is an expert in the field of plant-based diets. So once I got that book, I felt like I had something serious that I could experiment with. After reading the introduction, I was hooked. In a nutshell, the author explains how a whole food, plant-based diet can help reduce weight, the risk of cancer, and many other Western disease pictures like high blood pressure and high cholesterol. 2 things my doctors were telling me I would have to take medication for in the near future. When I finished reading the book, I was thinking, I'm going to try this out and see if I can gain any health benefits from a whole food plant-based diet and see if I can lose some weight along the way. So this boiled down to me cutting out most processed foods out of my diet and any animal products. Thus, I got rid of all meat and dairy products in my fridge, but more importantly, I increased the amount of fruits, vegetables, grains, and nuts I was eating. The biggest challenge, however, was not cutting out meat. It was giving up cheese. I love great cheese, and it felt like a painful sacrifice to give it up. Have you guys ever tried vegan cheese? Yeah, I think there's an ideology behind creating that stuff. It is not an option. There were a few interesting things that happened next. First, I was able to lose the weight that I gained fairly quickly, and then some more, without working out more. Second, I received a whole lot of comments and questions from friends and family members ranging from, don't you think that's pretty extreme cutting out all meats at once, to, man, I could never give up meat, to, hey, that's actually pretty awesome. Let me know how it works out for you. And then third, my health improved in unexpected ways. I used to get 3 to 4 colds a year that would last me about a week, and it was dreadful to say the least. However, now I'm down to 1 cold, and the duration is about 4 days. So in essence, I've gained about 3 healthy weeks a year, which I think is pretty spectacular, right? The second improvement was even more profound. My high blood pressure and high cholesterol values dropped into a perfect range without me having to take any kind of medication. I don't think the hardcore vegan label fits my personality, nor do I think it is necessary to achieve these health benefits. Also, I did not stop eating meat to save the animals initially. Selfishly, I wanted to save my own health. Moreover, when I'm out and about with friends and we share a meal, in which not eating meat makes things difficult, I will make an exception, and that happens about a handful of times a year. Hence the label vegan flexible. If any of you have loved ones, friends, or family members who are suffering from Western disease pictures like cancer, high cholesterol, or simply struggling to lose a few pounds, don't look any further. There's some straightforward but powerful tools out there to improve your health, and I have compiled a list of resources that I can make available to you. In summary, I shared with you my journey to improving my health, losing some weight, and developing a vegan flexible mindset or ideology. Thank you.